Your Excellency, this new hope is for you and your family and your alliance. We don't have any new hope. Our next new hope is 2027. Before 12 o'clock, Your Excellency, we will vote you out. We will vote Atiku Abubakar.
Seek to have a coalition against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Are you going to agree to have a Southerner lead this coalition so that 8 years of a Southern leadership is not truncated? And the answer was, we want to take our power back. So essentially what you're saying to me as a Southerner from Delta State...
Hello and what's up guys? In this video, something very serious is unfolding in our politics and it is already raising alarm across the South. During a closed-door meeting with the ADC coalition, a shocking statement was made. Northern elders allegedly said that whenever a Southerner becomes president, they must find a way to cut that leadership short. Can you imagine? One Southerner inside that meeting stood up and asked them a direct question. As you push for a coalition against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027, will you allow the Southerner to lead so that 8 years of Southern leadership is not cut short? But guys, the answer he got was cold and blunt. We want to take our power back. In other words, they are saying clearly that power belongs only to one side of the country. That's not just insulting. It is a direct message that Southerners are not seen as worthy of holding the highest office in Nigeria. And here is the part that will shock you. The key faces in this coalition are not new names. They are the same politicians from the past administration that dragged Nigeria to its knees, to the point of collapse. When you look closely, the top figures driving this agenda are Fulani politicians determined to seize power again. A few Southerners are there, but only as pawns. Peter Obi, who they say won't be allowed to lead, only to play a betrayal role. From the southwest, there is Aregbesola. From the south-south, there is Amaechi. But the real drivers, Fulani power brokers with one single goal: to grab power at all costs. Now, Southern voices are warning strongly. If this coalition refuses to present a Southerner as a presidential candidate in 2027, then the South will never betray Tinubu the way Tinubu and others betrayed Goodluck Jonathan back in 2015. Guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look, guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
Seek to have a coalition against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Are you going to agree to have a Southerner lead this coalition so that 8 years of a Southern leadership is not truncated? And the answer was, we want to take our power back. So essentially what you're saying to me as a Southerner from Delta State, from Onitsha local government area, is that you're telling me that as a Nigerian, I am not worthy, I'm not deserving to hold power and to hold office in this country. That power belongs to just a segment of this country. That anytime a Southerner holds office in this country, we must do something to truncate that leadership. That was a very demeaning and insulting statement, Shehu. And to think about that, in fact, in that room, that the people who were in that room were people who were part of the past administration who took Nigeria to its knees where we are today, Shehu, to the brink of collapse. What do you want me to say, Shehu? That because I'm desperate for power, I should say, okay, you know what? They want to remove Bola Ahmed Tinubu, power at all costs. Maybe they'll give me some position, and I should agree to something I know that is morally wrong, that's against everything I believe. Shehu, their generation stand for only two things: religion, region. That's all they stand for. We were born into it. So should we transmit this thing to our children so that we never speak to a country about meritocracy anymore? Is that who we should continue being in this country? A people who don't care about merit or anything. We should continue being divided along tribal or religious lines in this country. Is that who we are, Shehu? It's not about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's not about ADC. It's about the future of this country. And we don't need these people. We start rejected, Shehu.
If I ask you, are you privy to the origin of the ADC?
Shehu, I will tell you this. ADC is a party. When they brought me into this party, I met the then chairman, Rapunsu, and they told me that this party is a party that has ideals, all men being equal before the law, no north, no south, blah, 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 and all the stuff. Shortly after I entered the party, people in the party drew my attention to the fact that this man has been the chairman of the party for the past 18 years. No democratic credentials. And how can you say that you want to advance democracy being in a party that has such credentials? I believe that it was something of the past, and that my being in that party, that we could move that party forward. But sad to say, maybe after he emerged as the presidential flag bearer of the party, the same thing that they had done to all previous presidential candidates, they did the same thing. They tried to sell my candidacy. They tried to frustrate me from running for office. They started writing and doing press release that I am no longer the presidential candidate of the party because I insisted that I must run for office, Sheon. This is the past of ADC. But Sheon, I tell you this, I met a lot of young Nigerians who had only one ambition. How do we move Nigeria forward? They came into the party in their drive to run for office, only to wake up one day to hear that the party had aligned with other parties and that the party had been sold. And that this party was really not.
What do you mean it has been sold?
You mean that they are in the last election that they had done some alignment with PDP or with APC, and as such, those people who had paid for funds to run on the platform of ADC, they saw their ambition being truncated.
Let me ask.
Now, if you think say most of the political analysis where they make, why tell you I know be politician, so they make them because they bias. Just look this picture. Anybody know this picture? Put them inside. This particular picture. Anybody who know the inside, put them inside there. Now, if you be Hausa person or Fulani person, tell me how many Fulani people were there here and how many Hausa people were there here. If you be Niger Delta person, tell me. If you be Yoruba person, tell me. If you be Igbo person, tell me how many Igbo people were there here. Now, we say school no be scam, and you do what they call probability for mathematics. If they ask you, for these statistics of people where you see here, what be the probability say Igbo person for here go be president if person way from this group become president? What be the probability say Hausa / Fulani person go be president considering the number of people where they here? What be the probability say Yoruba person go become president again? Looking at the permutation of people where they assume say the present government don't come up for power and then power go to this group of people where they here. If I talk something, common sentiment, listen to me so that you go learn. May you see the kind of misinformation where our leaders don't give us the kind of misconception where our leaders they allow to the day inside our mind where they make us stay divided for the point where we're not supposed to stay divided. Answer this question. Use the answer where you get. Tell yourself whether na really hate abi na politics they make some people get leadership and other people know they get leadership.
It appears as though the man Tinubu knows the game very well. Of course, exactly the game they played against Goodluck Jonathan is a game they are currently trying to play with the man Tinubu. Because we understand that it took insecurity for the North to demarcate the Jonathan. And every effort of Jonathan to fight insecurity was diplomatically resisted by Northerners. Because look at what came from even a former House of Assembly member from Borno State, laid credence to the fact that the North actually wanted Jonathan out and they used insecurity to achieve that. And if you even look at what came from Kawu Baraje recently, that it is even the Northerners themselves, that brought these bandits from neighboring African countries to remove a Jonathan from office. And as we have it, Tinubu have changed strategy because he has seen that if care is not taken, these same elements will use this same insecurity to demarcate his government, to bring the government down. Because I think for Northerners, or rather those who orchestrate this, it is very easy for them to use insecurity as an excuse to demarcate any president that is in power. So I think that does explain the reason we are seeing different strategy coming up recently, seeing that even the president have even currently given nod to even state police. We saw the energy with which even Mahmuda bandit leaders were arrested. We are seeing success in different areas, seeing the president coming out boldly to say he is going to establish state police. But again, I think ultimately it is for the overall interest and good of everyone once the security of lives and property is guaranteed. Because one thing is certain, that this insecurity that was hitherto before now restricted to the northern part of the country is already having its roots in the southern part of the country. So that is why every Nigerian, particularly the patriotic ones must queue behind federal government to see that we see an end to this. Because those who benefit from the insecurity, those who brought those bandits into Nigeria, they will not rest. They will continue to do one or two things to ensure that they sabotage the effort of government in trying to end this issue of insecurity. If someone like Shegumi could come up boldly, even before the election of 2023, to even tell his followers that they should not vote for any candidate that will acquire more weapons to fight bandits. You begin to wonder, it's all over the media how he canvassed all of that before the election. And again, this is someone who even recently accused federal government that we have Mossad agents in Nigeria and that they will be targeting Muslims. Like I said the other day, I do not have the intelligence to know whether we have Mossad agents in Nigeria. But the question is, if for any reason we have Mossad agents in Nigeria, and that is perhaps the reason we are seeing success in the fight against insurgency, fight against terrorism, sequel to the arrest of 2 bandit leaders, I must say it's a welcome development, and that the government should continue in that trajectory. Because the same way the North derailed Jonathan, the same way they use security to bring down his government, that is what they are still trying to do. But I think the man Tinubu is smarter than them, because we can clearly see that he is starting very early before they will bring down his government. Because normally once it's close to the election and there's no time to do all of the work of fighting the insurgency, it becomes a problem for his government. Because I remember that even as Jonathan brought in missionaries towards the election of 2015, it was late, even though his government recorded significant success in the fight, or rather decimating the terrorism or terrorists, but the damage has been done. I think that is what Tinubu is avoiding, because we can clearly see that the current government is very serious to fight this insecurity. Even seeing that the government have even gone ahead to acquire 50 fighter jets that will in anytime soon arrive the country. I must say that it's a welcome development, because we continue to see success on the part of the military. And again, what gladdens the heart of every patriotic Nigerian is that the locals are already owning the security, and that the government even currently is recognizing that the locals should play a pivotal role. Because we cannot forget in a hurry the success that came from Delta State in Abraka, to be precise, where the locals obviously synergized with the police, and a handful of the terrorists, bandits were arrested. We equally saw the one that came from Owashuku in the same Delta State. And even in the same Delta State, we saw a recent development where a local person led the military personnel into the bushes, into the forest, to crack down bandits. And even for now, that same particular individual led the military to confront bandits, and ransom was recovered. Bandits disallowed. So the important thing is that wherever the success is coming from, is welcome development, whether the part of the police, or the part of DSS, or the part of the locals. But the important thing is that there must be synergy. There must be symbiotic relationship, because the issue of insecurity, or rather fighting it, demands for all hands to be on deck. And as we have it, good thing, the issue of forest guard is already taking its roots, and even Mr. President mentioned it recently that the forest guard will be empowered to do the job. But again, I think this lays credence to the position of the Director General of DSS, talking about Ajayi, who was emphatic recently that, of course, the locals, the communities should be strengthened, should be empowered to be the first line of defense in case of invasion, and in case of the type of insecurity we are witnessing. I think that may have even shaped the mind of the president in the direction we are seeing. But the ultimate thing is that we are achieving results. And I want to believe that that trajectory should continue. And the government should not listen to any opinion that seeks to demoralize the people, particularly the military personnel who are in the field. Because it makes no sense see someone like Sheikh Gumi saying that federal government should stop kinetic approach, that they should adopt non-kinetic approach. And these are people who obviously have no value for human life. You can clearly see that in their operation, who disallow people at will, who will go and kidnap people without provocation, demand for ransom, and those who cannot pay ransom are disallowed. So that is why I personally advise the government, whether the federal government whether the respective state government, that henceforth, going forward, they should not negotiate with any bandit leader or any bandit group. The best the government could do is to go ahead to acquire monopoly of currency power to police every inch of Nigerian territorial integrity. Good thing, even the South State governor made it very clear recently that they have already acquired technology, equipments, and all of that, which they already installed, which he can even seamlessly use to monitor the movement and location of bandits. So the only challenge currently, according to him, is the command and control of the security architecture. And that brings us to the current situation where the president have agreed that the security arrangement should be rejected and that there is every need to create state police. But meanwhile, before the state police come on board, we understand that the forest guard has already taken root, because all the state governments have been advised, or directed rather, to start recruiting personnel in that regard. And I understand that the presidency, or rather from the office of the president, have asked the state government to continue recruiting, and that they should recruit between 2,000 and 5,000 personnel, depending on their financial capacity. I must say it's a local development, because it has been established that all crime is local, and that all the intelligence that needed to crack down the bandits, the rest with the local. So if that is the case, then it's a welcome development. It makes sense to see that the locals are already being integrated into all of this. Because I saw a town hall meeting talking about the one that happens in Enugu side, I think Nsukka to be precise, where the forest guard were already sitting, having conversation on how to move in for operation. And we hope to start seeing a replica of that in every state, because except for some states where the insecurity occasioned by Fulani militias is not too high.
We urge Nigerians to disregard them and their diabolical scripts, because it contains many inaccuracies that misrepresent national interest and unity. But it is a deliberate attempt by some mischievous individuals who seek the opportunity to politicize national security matters.
Again, I want to say that it is high time almost all the states should start enacting anti-open grazing laws, because that in a way help the security arrangement at the local level to do their job efficiently. Because we have seen instances where crime and criminality is linked to cattle rearing. So if everybody is asked to ranch his or her cow, it will be understandable that no cow, or rather header, will be seen roaming the street. And once that happens, if they see you are roaming the street, of course, the law would have captured the penalty and the sanction that goes with it, and the person, or rather the header, will be made to pay when the person is dragged to court. So I think that's the way to go. Because I understand that even in the past, we have instances where, when the case of Ekiti State and Benue State, of course, they enacted law prohibiting open grazing. So I want to say that other states should start emulating that. Let us start seeing anti-open grazing laws enacted by state houses of assembly, so that once the forest guards start moving around, start taking root, it will be easier for them to know who is moving illegally and who has the permission to move around. Because I must say that land is sacrosanct, and that the government should do everything it takes within their power to protect lives and property. More so, as the constitution is very clear on that, particularly section 14, section 2B of 1999 Constitution as amended, that says that the welfare of the people and their security shall be the primary purpose of governance. So to that extent, the government must do everything within their power to protect lives and property. Because whether the president, whether the governors, whether the local government chairman, at their different capacities, they have all sworn an oath to protect lives and property. And that they must do without excuse. Because I understand the lamentation of the governor of Zamfara State, who, of course, said it's part of the intelligence gathering that he cannot command the security architecture. And of course, that is a very big challenge. And again, someone like Toji Bello, someone like Adaleru, particularly Adaleru, who have a bounty of 5 million on his head, I want to say that the security agencies should make haste to arrest him, prosecute him, to act as deterrent to others. I understand that when it comes to Toji Bello, the military have made it very clear that his cousin, who doubles as his operational commander, have been neutralized in the battlefield. I want to say that the same fate should befall even Tajibelo himself. The one thing is certain: is either he's arrested and prosecuted to add a deterrent to others, or he's neutralized in the battlefield, whichever one comes first. But the ultimate thing is that the Nigerian government, the Nigerian armed forces, must acquire monopoly of currency power to do the needful. Because without that, all these bandits will be wreaking havoc. And come to think of it, even the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, made it very clear that most of these bandits come from other parts of the world, like Burkina Faso, Libya, Niger, and all of that. And you have someone here in Nigeria advocating for amnesty for them. You begin to wonder, will people now be converging here in Nigeria from different parts of the world and be seeking amnesty?
Okay. Since you come 2023, you take over from Muhammadu Buhari, this may God take him to a Ghana fit down. He is paying fuel subsidy. He lives a debt of 49 billion. Jonathan is paying, he lives 77 billion. You are on, Your Excellency. Just 2 years. 2 years. Your debt is 149 trillion. Not billion. 149 trillion. My people for Nigeria, come and see this. And this is the man who promised me hope. There is no new hope. There is no new hope. It's a new waste. It's a new problem. It's a new hungry for poor man. Poor man can know it was coming. Sir, no fuel, nothing. And even now, the federal government come out popular that anybody who buy fuel, they will collect 45%. Your Excellency, it means you don't want poor man to ride car again any longer. You want us to go with the food without riding any vehicle, so that you will remain only you fly or with your aircraft. You're using more expensive vehicle in the world. The vehicle you are using, Your Excellency, is the vehicle Trump is using, and China. And the economy is not, we don't have any economy. The vehicle is the highest vehicle in Africa. The aircraft is the same. Your Excellency, this new hope is for you and your family and your alliance. We don't have any new hope. Our next new hope is 2027. Before 12 o'clock, Your Excellency, we will vote you out. We will vote Atiku Abubakar to help us, because we are now in the lion mouth. This is the worst government and the worst democracy that people can do. Anybody come for opposition, they fight in Kwara, they fight in they destroy people in Lagos, also in Kebbi, also in Kaduna. What type of nonsense is this? Does it mean there's no democracy? Even no democracy, can you come? There will be democracy. You are the first person to come and say, Jonathan increased fuel subsidy. But now, you are the one putting us into confusion. I respect, as you say, you fight soldier. You want to bring democracy. Is that how you bring? This is the worst democracy. You will not even bring this type of democracy. Nothing, no new hope. Any poor man who is looking for new hope, your new hope is get your voter card ready. If you don't have it, go and register and get voter card. Let's prepare. Before 12 o'clock, let's take the Bola Ahmed, let's vote him out. Simple. Simple. We are coming for opposition. ADC is on the way. Nobody can disturb us to vote whom we need. And nobody will intimidate us. You will arrest tires, you will kill tires. Me, I don't care to death. As a soldier, which in death. I don't welcome bullet tire inside train. What are you talking about?